that label or that diagnosis does not mean that that is how you have to live your life. And there's so many studies that show how powerful your mind is. So imagine you have a diagnosis and you start focusing your energetic attention on you being healthy, on you being well. What does that feel like? And it's hard because it may be in the midst of pain. It may be in the midst of whatever that reality is in this moment. And you have an opportunity in this moment to focus on what you want it to be.
Welcome back to PCOS Unfiltered, where we ditch the one-size-fits-all advice. I'm Lindsie, nurse turned health coach, 2-time author, and your body wisdom guide. Here, I help you understand the messages behind your symptoms so you can stop fighting your body and start working with it. Before we jump into today's episode, I want to invite you to join us inside the Healthy Ever After community. It's where this podcast comes to life with weekly body wisdom tips, recipes, exclusive resources, behind-the-scenes content, conversations with women on the same journey, and monthly challenges with fun giveaways. In fact, we're kicking off our very first community challenge right now, and I'd love for you to be part of it. If you're only listening to the podcast, you're missing half the experience. You'll find the link to join the Healthy Ever After community in the show notes. Now, today's guest is Maytte Dusseau, a certified transformational mindset coach, law of attraction expert, speaker, and founder of Inspiring Your Best Life and Nurture Mind, Body, Spirit. Through her own journey of loss and transformation, she discovered the power of intentionally creating a life aligned with purpose, and today she helps women through limiting beliefs and create lives they truly love. As always, this podcast is intended for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered medical advice. Please consult your healthcare provider before making any changes to your diet, exercise, or treatment plan. Now go ahead and grab your favorite beverage, get comfortable, maybe have something nearby to take some notes, and let's dive in. Here's my conversation with Maytte Dusseau.
So the question is, how do you get into a powerful state? Like how do you, and so again, it all ties into what we've been talking about, because that's kind of like, I think for most people, the easiest place to start is just like, how am I feeling? And taking an inventory of how much time you're in that primal state, how much time you're in that powerful state, because we want to live powerfully. We want to live in a state where it doesn't matter what is happening out there. We're grounded, we're calm, we feel peace, and we're good. Like ultimately, that's where our power is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love how you put that primal versus powerful. I don't think I've heard it that way before, but I do like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's an easy way. I mean, you can think about it from a nervous system regulation. And I will say this because I think more and more we're talking about it. My approach is very mental and it has an emotional component to it.
Mm-hmm.
But with my clients, a big part of the conversation is, what are you doing to regulate your nervous system? What are the things that are you doing for that? Because they have to go hand in hand. You can do all the mental work, but if you haven't gotten to a point where you are experiencing your body in a rest and digest, again, a powerful state, it doesn't matter how many affirmations and how much work you do up here if your body is in constant fight or flight.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's so true. It's so true. I have to be careful with some of my clients sometimes too, because we do, a little bit of the nervous system work to start, but I want to make sure they're actually being intentional with that and not just checking the box. Like, okay, I did my deep breaths today and, I did this today. Well, what's next on the list?
Yeah.
No, I want them to actually like understand why they're doing it and actually take the few minutes to be present and do it. Yeah.
Yeah. And that being present, Lindsie, is really key.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're not being present, what are you doing? You're either living in the past or you're in the future somewhere. And again, from a spiritual standpoint, the present moment is the only thing we have. And
Mm-hmm.
so if you want to boil it down to, in this moment, how am I showing up? In this moment, how am I feeling? In this moment, what am I thinking?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the more intentional you are about that, the more that becomes your reality.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. So, we've talked a lot about already kind of those, belief patterns. Um, how do mindset along with those belief patterns influence a woman's health, especially when she's been living in that survival mode? So more specifically, how do you see it showing up in women's health, when they're living in that mode for years, probably without even realizing it?
Well, they end up getting sick. Um, I mean, if you think about the rise in autoimmune
Mhm.
disorders, what's
No.
the number one cause of autoimmune disorders? It's typically stress.
Yeah, that was my tipping point, was
Yeah.
stress of running a gym and then COVID and all the unknowns, and I think that's what sent me over the edge. Yeah.
And so it's kind of interesting because I mean, our body is just incredibly designed. Like when we are in homeostasis and balance, when it's working the way that it's supposed to be working, it is incredible. Like the things that happen in our body. And so if you think about, people who use muscle testing is based on the idea that your body knows, like it just knows what is in alignment and what's not in alignment. And so the reality is that your body is telling you, your body talks to you all the time. It tells you when you need rest. It tells you when you shouldn't eat something. Like it tells you.
Mm.
And we do not listen. And we're on that hamster wheel and we're just doing and I will say this, and this is a big part of the coaching that I do, is there's no judgment here. You are doing the best job that you know how. But when you look in retrospect, and this is, the part that is exciting in terms of having these conversations, is that you don't have to wait until you get a diagnosis. So part of what we're doing is to educate people that, hey, your body is giving you clues. Like, are you getting enough rest? Are you taking time for yourself? Are you putting yourself first? Like, how are you feeding yourself so that you can then pour into others? Because if you continue to work from a deficit, your body is going to get worse. It's going to tell you. This is the most tragic example, and it's my interpretation. I met this woman, and she was just the loveliest person. I just loved her. Like she and I connected, and I knew her for about a year and a half, and we always tried to get together. We never did. And her family was constantly needing her. And on some level, that fed her. And she did not take care of herself. And she just kept, like, it was all out, all out, all out. She ended up having a diagnosis of a rare bladder disorder that killed her.
Wow.
And I remember thinking, wow, you didn't pay attention to yourself. You gave everything that you had, literally.
Mm.
And then you didn't have any more to give.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for me, that was just such a powerful message of how important it is.
Yeah.
So we have the ability to pay attention and to put ourselves first. And again, we live in a society where I think we're starting to understand that more, but we were raised to put everybody else first.
Mm.
I mean, the word selfish, like you call me selfish, I'm like, you're damn straight, I'm selfish. Absolutely. I'm number one. Everybody else comes after me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's not how most people think.
No.
And especially women, I think. are challenged with that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so a big part of all of this is just to say, you're deserving. You came here to have an incredibly beautiful life,
Mm-hmm.
full of health and wealth and amazing relationships and the ability to shine in whatever way that is for you. That's what you came here to do. While going through the 3D experience of, lifing and the craziness of it, but to remember who you are. So, and when you do that, oh my goodness, the rewards are amazing. Like the life that you can create is just like beyond your wildest dreams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's amazing. Like, it's amazing how much is aligning now too, especially after fresh off my Costa Rica trip. But we did talk about that so much with the generational,
Yeah.
traumas and beliefs that we're holding, and that we now in a different generation need to release, because our mothers, our grandmothers, great grandmothers, our ancestors were always for females in that giving all the time, right? Taking care of everybody else and just giving everything to, support the home and the children and everything. And yeah, it's not like that really anymore. And sometimes we've carried that, over these
Yeah.
generations
Yeah.
now, and we're starting to see the effects of that. Yeah.
100%.
Mm. Yeah.
And then the flip side is, uh, we don't need to do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We need to recognize that that can be different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's exciting times in terms of helping people to really get this so that they're being intentional in the life that they're creating,
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah.
which is why I get so excited about this
Yeah.
conversation.
I love it.
Well, because
Uh,
imagine the more that we can be in our own light, like the more that we are connected and living fully and intentionally, the higher our vibration is, and that has a ripple effect because we're all connected.
yeah. Yeah. Very
And the
true.
only way to make a difference is to make a difference within yourself first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it goes to that law of attraction piece then too, right?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Um, so when someone is struggling with their health, like we were talking about, it's easy to focus on those symptoms and the external fixes and the diets and the supplements and all the things, right? So tell us a little bit more about your work and how you help women begin looking at the emotional and, belief level roots of what may be contributing to their symptoms.
Yeah. Um, that's such a good question because in so many ways we've already answered. When I work with my clients, the first thing is to really identify where are they? What's happening in this moment? Um, and it goes back and forth because I that's not accurate because typically I start with where do you want to be? What's your vision of the future? Like, where is it? Like, if I could like
Mhm.
wave my magic wand and it's 2 years from now, what would you want your life to be?
Mhm.
Because I think that sometimes we're so used to what we don't want, but to actually give ourselves an opportunity to imagine and to dream of what that could be. And even in terms of that, that could be a really good starting place to what comes up as
Yeah.
you dream. Like, that's for other people. That's not for me.
Yeah.
There's a million things that people can experience even in that exercise. But then it is really, okay, so where are we now? Like, where are you? And identifying what that gap is. Um, and then honestly, it's the belief work. So what's the most pressing thing in terms of this issue? And really looking at, okay, so the last time that you were upset or frustrated with this particular thing, the last time you went to the doctors and, you had a conversation, like, take me back there and really help them. Um, what's so interesting is for me, is asking the questions and helping them to really uncover what are those belief patterns. Because for most people, they've never really taken the time or really looked at that. Um, and the whole concept of, what I described earlier, that your beliefs inform your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and your results is kind of eye-opening sometimes for people. So a lot of the work I do is basically starting with a situation or a feeling or going back to, when was the last time you were in a primal state? So they get to direct where their focus is within the container of what we've identified that we want to get to. Um, and then work that process of really understanding, and sometimes it's surface level, but with the understanding that that's just surface level. Let's go a little deeper. And because the thing is that once you understand what that is, and there's a little digging that goes in terms of like, where did that come from? And an understanding, for me, I call them the spiritual sort of framework that holds it all together. And what I mean by that are things like everything is always working out for us. There's a gift in everything. And so being able to kind of look back at what has transpired in your life and change the lens through which you see it so that, your worst situation, to be able to get to a point where you can acknowledge, yeah, that sucked, was not good, would have liked it to have been different. Um, but I can appreciate that who I am in this moment is partly because of that. The things that I learned through that experience, the strength that I developed, the resiliency, whatever that is for people. Because a lot of times when you're in it, you can't see what I can see. And so my job is to provide support while you go back and take a look, but then to also help you to see it differently. Because again, just like we've been talking about, the meaning that you gave that situation is what is driving your suffering around it. And if you can shift that, if you can make a new decision about how you want to look at that now, with grace toward the people involved, with grace and compassion toward yourself, that can change how you view the whole situation. And in my belief work, and again, your beliefs create your results and you get to decide how it is. So you could say, you know what? I'm no longer allowing that to affect my life. Now, that's a great decision, but we've also talked about, well, what's the work? Every time that comes up for you, it's like, oh, I know who you are. I've already made a new decision. This is my new decision, and this is the evidence that I have.
Yeah.
And really looking at what that evidence is, because, your brain is a goal achieving machine. Whatever it is that you believe, it is filtering out everything that is not in alignment with that. The moment you make a new decision and you truly make a new decision, like you're not wishy-washy about it, you made a new decision. This is how it's going to be moving forward. Your brain starts going through all of the memories and all of the things, just like a computer would when you put in a search, and it will start coming up with evidence that is true, but you weren't aware of it. You weren't looking at it.
Yeah.
And so that mechanism of getting the evidence is really critical in helping the process of solidifying that new decision. But it's repetition. It's not allowing, like Joe Dispenza talks about it. You have to be so vigilant that those old thoughts and those old behaviors are not going to be allowed to be part of this experience. And how many times do you have to do that? I don't even know.
Exactly. That's going to vary, right? For everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like we talked about, even in the midst of something that you're like, you have to be like, no, that's not true for me anymore. This is what's true. And you're literally rewiring your brain.
Yeah. And sometimes you have to say that out loud too, right? Like I've told my clients that, like when they get tempted, with a food, for example, and that sugar monster is like in their ear, like, okay, you've had a good day. Maybe you should just have a bite of this, and sometimes you have to actually like scream over it, and say, no, I am not going to eat that, or I'm not going to do that because
I know what happens the moment I put that in my mouth.
Yes.
It is downhill.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, back to what we said earlier, if you do make that choice, because in that moment, that's what you needed. Like, okay, we made that choice, not a good choice. I recognize that. That we're not doing that again.
Yeah. What can I learn from it? And then let's just move on. Don't beat yourself up over it. Just learn from it and then keep moving forward. Yeah.
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 So it's just retraining yourself in terms of how you look at the world and your ability to really step into the power that you have to make it different.
Yeah. Yeah. Ah, well, that's a good way to probably end this. But
Yeah.
last question is, how can people find you and connect with you? And you do have a local bookstore. So for anybody in the Tampa Bay area, we want to fill us in on that. And then just also how they can
Sure.
find you otherwise.
Absolutely. So my website is my name. So www.Maytte Dusseau. I'm sure you'll have it
Yes.
in the show notes. If you want to go deeper in terms of what we talked about, you can book a call with me, and that's callwithmaytte.com. I do have a spiritual bookstore. It's in Dunedin. It's called Nurture Mind, Body, Spirit. And while we have books there that are on spirituality, personal development, and physical well-being, as well as recovery, we also have a really cool event space and really just want to be a spiritual hub in the Dunedin community. We're really lucky to have a very conscious community there. And so it's really, for me, it's just really exciting to bring different kinds of practitioners to come in and have different experiences that people can have, just to broaden their perspective. Because we have coaching, we have talk therapy, but again, the body regulation. So when we have sound bowl healing or breath work, or even an opportunity, like we're going to start a women's circle so that it's a drop in every Thursday where, if you're a woman and want to have community, you come, you show up, and you're with other women who are seeking the same. So I'm really excited about that space and what we're providing to the community.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. Well, thank you so, so much for this conversation
I
and
love it.
for
Thank you so
joining
much for
me.
having me.
Yes, thank you. That was an amazing conversation with Maytte. I'll be sure to link everything in the show notes if you'd like to connect with her. And if you're enjoying the podcast, come join us inside the Healthy Ever After app. It's where we continue the conversation with community, recipes, resources, and exclusive content. Plus, you'll currently be getting my summer sanity guide just for joining. The link is in the show notes for you. And if you love this episode, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because healing doesn't come from doing more, it comes from understanding better. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll see you on the next episode of PCOS Unfiltered. Nourish, heal, thrive.